you can hear me, if the microphone is working okay. Hello, hello, hello. Wow. So, please let me know in the chat if the sound is okay, because I'm not sure if everything is running smoothly. I never know. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. So maybe this way I will know easier how the connection is, how the sound is. I'm using my microphone. When I live stream with Stefan, we figured out that the best way would be actually to use no microphone at all. Thank you so much. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Sharon. Shabbat Shalom, Sharon. And hope everyone is having a great weekend. Thank you so much for the feedback. So the sun actually just popped out like 2 minutes ago. The entire day was pretty windy and gloomy and a little chilly actually because of that. Because now I guess this time of the season, if the sun is out, you know, like it's like Oscar, you want the buns out. When the sun is not around and you kind of want to cuddle in something warm and nice. Hi, Christine. For the just kind of to find this coziness in the so-called gezelligkeit, right? The gezellig, this word that for me as a linguist is important to bring up. This kind of unique phenomenon, lifestyle of the Dutch people, the importance of this coziness, you know, warm talks, sitting cozily with the people you like, you know, and enjoying the atmosphere, everything. So I guess, hi Ronum, hi everyone, hi Ronelyn. So I think I found this place to find my own Gezelligkeit, or well, I guess the Sweden of the Gezellig. And I'm in the garden. And you know what? I'm not, well, I am kind of tour guide to Amsterdam. Actually, today in the morning, I did my in-person tour of Jewish heritage of Amsterdam and the Netherlands. And I will be doing a little bit of it tomorrow and also on the 22nd of April. So yeah, there's a lot coming in, but I still tend to forget that I'm actually also a tour guide to Amsterdam now. I specialize in, well, Jewish heritage and resistance, and a little bit of Russian heritage too, but not everyone is really interested in. Hi Sharon, in Russian heritage, they kind of focus on the Jewish heritage. But being Russian Israeli kind of really, it's a challenging thing, but I am embracing it, hopefully with grace, definitely not with shame. And I'm happy to be here actually, and this is the reason why the tour for today starts exactly here. Well, we have amazing tour guides on our platforms. We have Stefan van der Meer, right, my good friend, and we've done so many fantastic tours together, and he is a professional. We have Mark, who's also a tour guide here. By the way, I haven't seen him yet. We're kind of trying to catch up, but this is the top season, it's high season, and it's really, really, really busy here. I hope to meet with him because I do want to see him. Mark. Well, and definitely, I'm not here to steal the show. I'm not here to take, well, it's not like I'm taking the job from them, but, well, you have seen so many tours with them and they know everything. I'm a little different. So, but I also can add to, well, to the perception of Amsterdam. I can add my stories and I can always do it my way and on my terms, and that's exactly what I'm here for. I would like to take you to Amsterdam the way I see it. And the reason for me starting the tour here in this garden and not in the middle of the Dam Square or not by, I don't know, well, I cannot really film in the red light district, but I could have taken you somewhere around the old district, right, the red light district. But I'm not doing that because it's my terms, my heritage, my interests, and this is the area where kind of everything comes together. Hi Dolores, good to see you all. Look at this weather, look at this, it's just amazing. Again, the whole day was pretty gloomy and chilly, and now it's actually getting pretty hot. So I'm not sure, I might need to take off my coat at some point, but we'll see how it goes. So let's get started with this. Well, just one more thing I forgot to mention, that I am still doing all my virtual tours, and for today I have 2 more tours scheduled, like the pre-recorded ones. Every Saturday at the same time I do my tours for, well, virtual tours, right? And today we are wrapping up the story of the Nevsky Avenue, again, St. Petersburg. And we are going to walk through the backyards and alleyways. Temperature, I don't know, it was about 13 degrees today in the afternoon, but but now I think it's actually a little bit warmer because of the sun. And once the sun is gone, it's going to be pretty much the same, I would say. So it's still not really summerish. A couple of times I kind of felt a little bit just almost summer, but no, not really, not yet. So yep. Yeah, and then also 30 minutes after my usual tour for both virtual tours, I'm taking you on a stroll in the new neighborhood in St. Petersburg. I mean new because we haven't been there before. We're going to drop by some lobbies and also connecting courtyards and stories of the aristocracy and things like that. Oh, amazing! Wow. Well, good. Well, good luck in Turkey. Enjoy the weather. It's going to be pretty warm there already. I'm pretty sure, Cheryl. Wow, lucky you. So let's get started with the tour. And well, I was actually hoping for a little bit quieter atmosphere, but actually there is a wedding going on, a private event, but I will not be filming the people. So I'm here for the vibe. I'm here for the green, fresh grass, for some flowers, for some sunlight, and the quiet, the peace and quiet of the Amstelhof. Well, this is the old name of the area, and yeah, I know, 2.5 years ago, I did some virtual tours in here, but it was 2.5 years ago, and plus it was not the tulip season, so I thought it would be a good idea to start here for several reasons. Well, I would rather not film the bride because I don't want to invade people's privacy. It's a private event, and I would rather show you the tulips. Strange, not strange. I mean, these ones, oh, these are, well, mainly willows, but also platans. But they cut them well, I would say once in several years, mainly because the branches, if well, in case of strong wind, yeah, time flies, exactly, Jennifer. In case of strong wind, it will easily break and hit someone, damage something in someone, and we do not want that. So that's basically why the branches are cut several times, once in several years. I'm not sure how often it's done. We have some daffodils and tulips. Yeah, so the reason me coming to Amsterdam this time of the year is simply the tulips, because I left Amsterdam with my boys in January 2024. So there were no tulips for me. Many stories about tulips, but no real tulips. Plus, this is, I've been doing work for Stefan and Catherine. I will help them a lot, and I know how during this basically 2 months in a year, Amsterdam gets so packed with tourists and it gets so busy, and they're always short of people, short of guides, and Catherine and Stefan are just red and white tulips. Yes, they are gorgeous. They remind me of strawberry milkshake. But I think I like the purple ones best. I don't know, but the red ones are amazing too. We'll see. Well, last year, Catherine barely slept. Stefan too. Stefan had to take a lot of tours and do them himself. And we kind of discussed it, but like briefly with Catherine. And you know what? So here I am, basically. And as you know, Stefan had no idea I would be coming. And it was a surprise for him and for everyone else, for many of you. I would say for all of you. So here I am, enjoying the tulips, helping Catherine, helping Stefan, gladly, proudly doing in-person tours for Amsterdam experiences for Stefan's company. And so, as I said, today I did a virtual, a personal tour of the Jewish Quarter, Jewish heritage, and I also do a lot of tours on Anne Frank and her last walk. So, and I'm so happy. I miss this so much. It's ridiculous, but I'm a tour guide in 2 countries and I can't guide in any of them because it's really not the best situation, right? Put it mildly. So kind of it's really weird. So I'm so grateful to Catherine and Stefan for this. So what's going on here? Why exactly here? Well, yeah, tulips. First and foremost, I wanted to show you more tulips. Yeah, I know it can compare to Keukenhof, right? It's not the same. Plus, the recording from the live stream that we did with Stefan, Catherine, and Oscar is available on Stefan's channel. So yeah, we're not going to compete with this. It's just a little bit of tulips, just to create the vibe. And I'm here for the place. Well, Amstelhof, which I'm sure many of you remember from Stefan's tours, from my tours. Basically, it was a charitable institution back in the 1600s and 1700s. The rich Dutch merchants created established a lot of institutions to take care of well, in fact, I did a lot of back-end work for the website, a lot of content, a lot of texts. And yeah, for some reason, it wasn't easy to remember everything. It was there in my head. Believe it or not, but it was there in my head. So yeah, I didn't have to remember things. They just kind of came up. I don't know, it sounds a little bit weird maybe, but that's exactly how it is. And so these charitable institutions, they took care of the lonely elderly people. In this case, it was lonely elderly women. And hopefully I will be able, yeah, okay, that's great. So I would like to leave this garden shortly and go around this building. The local time is 5 p.m. and that place over there, the entrance or exit from that side is already closing. Starting from, well, let's say about 20 years ago or so, the institution closed. There was a massive restoration here, and now it's all sorts of different venues. Also, a lot of organizations are placed here. Well, the wedding is over there, but I'd rather not film them and let the people enjoy the holiday. Yeah, but the building over there, which we're going to go around now along the canal, is very dear to me because in early 2000s, here, among all the other institutions, opened the Hermitage Museum. No lovely windows, lonely windows, no lonely widows, no lonely widows. The widows are gone. That's it. There are still other places to find lonely widows. No, the widows are gone. So it was all sorts of institutions, a lot of heritage institutions, cultural institutions, holiday venues, libraries, and the Hermitage Museum, the branch of the Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg. Due to the Russian-Ukrainian war, obviously the connections with St. Petersburg had to be severed, and the institution was renamed a little bit. It's called Heart, H, and then asterisk Art. So technically speaking, Hermitage is still here, and if you look at the old maps, you will find the name Hermitage, not the Heart. The street signs are still there. The lampposts are really cute, but the bridges are even cuter. This area is a lot less touristy. That's the reason for me to come here for the tour. So the Heart, that's the first thing that brought me here. So I wanted to see the Hermitage, since it's the closest I can get to the Hermitage because I can't go to Russia. Well, at least I could enjoy a little bit of the Hermitage vibes here on on the banks of the Amstel River, which we are now approaching. Yes, this is a typical well, double leaf bridge. It's a drawbridge which can still be lifted up, and it still gets lifted up every once in a while to let the big ships sail, but the biggest ships will not be sailing. Well, it's mainly the tourist boats now. You can see a lot of them. There you go. Bigger ships, smaller ships. Oh wow, this is amazing. I mean, the sun is here. It was so gloomy. I am so lucky. I don't want to jinx it though, because I know it might change very quickly. Here we are, Heart Museum, Amstel Centrum, some Amstelhof, because it's the kind of the garden, the yard by the Amstel River. So that's the building, and the Amstel River is over there. Now I'm going to cross and show you the Hermitage building from a distance. The museum closes at 5, which is exactly the time our tour was scheduled. I could not schedule it any earlier. Cool bridge, exactly. We'll see even cooler one very soon. But there you go. Now I would like to cross and show you the Amstel River. So for me, starting tours by the Amstel River actually feels a lot more logical than starting them by the Dam Square. Let's say the main square, right? Where the Royal Palace is, because it's all, technically speaking, because of the Amstel River. The name Amsterdam, it means the Amsterdam, on the Amstel River. Yes, I'm sure you all know the stories that Stefan and Mark shared with you, how Amsterdam was established and how people have been fighting the water element and reclaiming land and all these things. Yeah, of course. So this is all true. This is exactly how things are, and it amazes me that that the Dutch people can control water, the levels of water. They can flood territories as needed. They can reclaim lands. This is incredible. And the Dutch were the ones who built the dam in St. Petersburg too. So there's a lot of connections with St. Petersburg. And I know I'm being a little bit selfish here because I know that, well, that's definitely not the most interesting topic at the moment. But for me, reconnecting with my heritage, even in this weird way, a very distant way, is, well, it's something that I've been needed for a while. Over here is the Heart Museum building, or the Hermitage. Locals still say Hermitage. The main entrance would be from the yard over there, but it's already closed, as I told you. They close at 5. Here used to be held all sorts of exhibitions run by the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. There were a lot of exchange exhibitions and all sorts of exchange programs, all sorts of educational programs, and lots of educational programs for the students of the St. Petersburg Academy of Fine Arts as well. But that's not the case anymore, at least for the time being. We are passing by the houseboats, and this is what really amazes me. In order to live on a boat, which is totally legit now, it's all okay, it's all good. Well, you just need to pay. You just need to obtain a permission. The permit is 300,000 euros, which costs like half of the apartment. And I know the real estate in the Netherlands is some of the most expensive in Europe, and well, I think it's understandable because there's just simply not enough housing, and the land is expensive, as a big part of the country actually is located on the reclaimed land. It kind of makes sense. So I would like to cross here, but I also want to make sure there are no bikes. So the reason number 2 for me to start the tour in this area, it's not only Hermitage, which is, yeah, a big deal. I was glad to be here. Plus, I know there is a lovely garden. That price per year? No, it's just what you pay. You get the permit, and the rest is the usual thing. No, you just need to pay taxes and everything, all the facilities. But you need this permit. You pay once. No, imagine paying 300,000 euros per year. You need to be a billionaire. It's on top of everything. It's just the permission. It's just the permit, and then you need to get the boat, and then it all has to be connected to the sewage system and all the facilities. Well, you see, it doesn't really have to look like a boat anymore. In fact, if your boat looks like a boat, it's a big issue, because sometimes these houses need to be moved, and then you need to either move them over the bridge, right, or under the bridge, which is like also not all of them can fit into the canal. So it's a big deal. It's a way easier just to make them this type of, well, it's steady. Oops, we had a little glitch. Am I back? Just let me know. I'm not sure what happened, but I hope I am still here. Yeah, okay, thanks. Not sure what it was. Normally, when these glitches happen, I don't see the chat anymore, and it looks like I'm basically streaming for myself. But it's good it's not the case. That's how it used to be in Georgia, at least. Thank you so much, everyone. So, to be honest, I have not been invited to a houseboat yet. And I wouldn't mind if anyone invites me. Just saying, you know, just saying. But it looks nice and cozy. So, but it's just, you know, also knowing that in the 70s and the 60s, it was just the squatters, the hippies that didn't want to pay taxes and couldn't afford living anywhere, and they would just become millionaires within a decade. That's, well, not, okay, obviously not just within a decade, it took them a little longer, but now all these people, well, their housing costs really a lot. So the reason number 2 for me to start by the Hermitage, not even the houseboats, but this also happens to be the area of the Jewish Quarter. The Jewish Quarter in Amsterdam is pretty big, and there's a lot that could be told in this regards. Tomorrow, I will be taking you to the same area, but my stories are going to be very different. There's just, even now, when I'm standing, you may remember it from Stefan's story, you may remember it from my tours, which was, again, as I said, a long time ago, but I remember it very, very distinctly, I would say. Your friend lives on a narrow boat called Olga. Wow, Cheryl, this is amazing. Have you been there? What does it feel like? Does it give the feeling of you like floating on the water, or it's steady and it doesn't cause any seasickness, which I understand may be the issue, maybe an issue for someone. Even now, when I'm standing here, I'm actually showing you a monument, but you don't really see it because this monument is actually over there. There are plaques, brass plaques over there along that side of the embankment, which is called the shadow wall. And what I love about the Jewish Quarter, well, with all those stories, gut-wrenching stories, but also the remarkable stories of the Jewish heritage, the monuments here are quite inconspicuous. You really need to know where they are. Some of them are pretty visible, but most of them, they are like shadows. And that's what we're going to be discovering on the 2 tours. The first one is tomorrow, slightly later than today. And then also on the 22nd, there's going to be part 2. So I will try to cover at least some of the stories. Yeah, but again, this is not the tour of the Jewish Quarter, and I am going my way. My goal is to take you to the other side of the Amstel River, to the older area, because obviously I would like to take you to the old part. Well, it's not like this is the new part. We're here in the 1600s. Hi dear, hi Barbara, good to see you. connectivity problem for some of you. Is it the same for everyone? So I did have a glitch. So this could be the case of bad connectivity easily. Just let me know. Anyway, I carry on. And I am now on my way to cross Amstel River. Thank you so much for the tips. Thank you. I haven't been able to see the name, so but whoever you are, thank you so much. Yes, there is the pinned comment on the top of the chat. It's always there on the top for you with the links to buy me a coffee. You can also send me a PayPal donation, and on my website you can find the link for the upcoming live streams. Hopefully I will be able to schedule just maybe one more live stream, but at the moment I'm not sure how it's going to go because there's really a lot to do. And right now, for example, I got a message from Catherine offering me to do another tour tomorrow, which of course, yes, of course, it's a yes. Couldn't even dream of that. So I promised you another bridge, and that's the bridge where Stefan and I actually did a tour together, the Skinny Bridge. The name pretty much reflects what's going on here and lives up to its name because it is a very narrow bridge. There are a lot of stories. We're not entirely sure why this bridge is so narrow, but basically there is a legend and there is the most plausible story. And you know that I don't really mind tales and legends, and the lore is, I'm totally fine with it. And who am I to spoil a good story with facts? So the legend has it that there used to live two sisters, very rich, on the opposite shore, on the opposite banks of the Amstel River, and they loved each other so much, and they wanted to see each other as often as possible, like every day. That's why they built the bridge. But they were a little bit thrifty, stingy, and they just decided to build a narrow bridge, which is not the case, obviously. I mean, the story is nice. I don't mind it at all, but it's not true. It's not true. Actually, the story is very simple. So this area where we are, I mean, not that side. We're not there yet. We're kind of still on the Jewish side, kind of the Jewish quarter, because yes, the Jewish quarter goes all the way that side. The Jewish quarter was developed a little bit later, so this side of the Amstel River started developing a little later. And in order to connect the two lands, the two sides of the river, there was built a bridge, a wooden one, a temporary one, and it was narrow. And then this is how it worked. It was a narrow bridge, hence the name Magerebrug, which I know my Dutch is horrible. I'm not even I don't know, even attempting to pronounce it right. I know I will fail. Magerebrug, I don't know. Anyway, I'm so sorry, but it actually means skinny bridge. And oh my goodness, this looks so lovely. We are so lucky. Wow. I mean, lucky with the weather. And yeah, also these people are lucky. They're enjoying the city from the best possible viewpoint. Is there water on my lens? No. It's still blurry for some of you. I may reconnect if it works. I may try. There's no water at all because I'm anywhere near the water. Okay, I will reconnect. Not an issue. Okay, how about now? No, I have reconnected. Is it blurry for you too? Now too? Blurry for everyone? Or just pixely? Okay now. I guess it's just about the connection, so I'd rather just cross to the other side of the bridge. Okay now. Okay, that's fantastic. So we are going to cross now to the other side. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I guess it's just the connection. Maybe there's something on the bridge. I'm not really sure. So let's go. We're now crossing the skinny bridge. Obviously, this suspension bridge, it used to be open mechanically, which wasn't really a big problem. Just pulling the chains, and first it was ropes, then chains, of course, but now it's all done mechanically. And all these
Did you have fun?
one,
At the camp?
1,500 bridges are fully functioning, but many at the moment in the old city, like a dozen of them in the old city, well, around the dozen, are being repaired at the moment, which is causing a little bit of inconvenience. During the pandemic, I'm sure Stefan brought that on his tours. A bridge collapsed in the area of the university. And, this is when the city authorities kind of realized that probably that was the best time for them to start fixing the bridges. And they started. So they checked one bridge, bad, really bad. They checked another bridge, also bad. So at the moment, in the area where the office is, there's all the bridges are completely, well, the area is blocked for cars. There's no trams, and it's yeah, it's a bit of an issue, which causes also, I would say, a lot of delays. But that's okay. And this area where I am now, so I've chosen this particular street because technically we could go to two of the canals. We are in the area of so-called canal belt. And the sun is shining right into my face, so I can hardly see the screen. I can hardly see where I'm going, but I guess we're good. I could have taken you the two big, well, not the big, but two main canals. We are in between, in the so-called canal belt area, which is the golden age extension area, so to speak. So the city started to expand, grow rapidly during the golden age. We're talking here 16th, 17th century. And they were built the canal belt. The canals were dug out, the houses by the canals were built, and that was a very expensive area to live. Let me stop here for a second. Okay, but I have chosen a different street. I've chosen a different way. A narrow street that I would say is less popular with tourists, but more with locals, especially with those taking bikes. The Kerkstraat, which means the church street. When I walked here first time, and by the way, mind you, I didn't know, well, I didn't see this area last time I was here. There was a lot to talk about. There was a lot to discover last time. I wanted to find something different, and well, I decided to take this street. I had very little time, but I went exploring, and I discovered that the Kerkstraat is lovely, that the Kerkstraat takes you to not even one, but actually two churches, and a lovely area in between the canals where a gazillion of stories can be told. And I have not shared any of them with you. Plus, I was also looking for the area that would be interesting to you, because I know that most of you have seen most of Stefan's tours or Mark's tours, and I didn't want to repeat them. I wanted to share a little bit, well, other areas, so to speak. So that's why, as I said, this is the tour on my terms. I can still hardly see anything. So I'll probably stop here for a second to show you a little bit of the old Amsterdam and a little bit of the new buildings too, which is pretty rare. Still, you can find it in this area, but the closer we get to the canal belt, the less of these buildings we're going to see. But still, even if it's a new building, you will get the same hooks over there. You see, the same hooks for hoisting furniture and everything to the upper floors. And it still amazes me how they do it. I mean, yeah, of course, there are these machines. You can just, there are these platforms, and yeah, you could do it in the modern way, but I like it. I like it with ropes and hoisting. I find it really charming, and I'm pretty sure this is cheaper than than booking those machines. Also, I was thinking, okay, Kerkstraat, what kind of church would we see? What kind of area this would be? So we are now pretty close to the neighborhood. Again, I can hardly see anything. As we go, there is this lovely, okay, I need the shade. I desperately need the shade. Yeah, that's good. I like this house a lot. A little bit of Art Nouveau coming our way, but there's going to be one of the most magnificent buildings that I have discovered in this area during this stay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, it's so kind of them. Unlike bicycles, the cars here actually let you cross. I also like it there's no such thing as jaywalking. Just imagine what it would have been. There's so many tourists. And also because another reason for me to coming to this area is simply because I wanted to see as less tourists as possible. I do not consider myself tourist though. Thank you so much, dear. Well, at least this is definitely a less touristy area, and whenever I travel, I really like looking for and finding local gems. So this is one of them. So when I came here, it was on Monday, and there was a lovely market here, farmers market. So every Monday from, I'm not sure which hour, but till 3 o'clock, there is a lovely farmers market. I'm going to switch the camera now to film myself, as I do not want to film kids. There is a playground here, but on this one day a week, there is a lovely farmers market. I got some cheese, I enjoyed myself, sat by the canal, and started loading things up. And then I realized that I am in the area, and I am by the market where only locals shop. Very few tourists. The tourists normally don't really come to this area. We're kind of in between the canals. And also in this there happen to be two beautiful churches, a lot of interesting stories, and really, really many bridges. Again blurry. How come? Let me reconnect. If I stand still, I have a chance of the signal to come back again. Let me know if I am here and if it's not blurry or if it is blurry. Clearer. I'm not sure what's going on. The signal should be fine. Anyway, we need an Amsterdam market trip. Okay, let me cross again. I don't see much, but we will see lovely things over here. So remember, we are still not far from the Amstel River, and we were walking just past the, okay, that's clearer. So I should probably be standing more, and this should theoretically stabilize the signal. Okay, once I find a little bit of shade, and I will be able to share a bit more stories, and hopefully the signal will get even better from here. So we are not far from the Amstel River, and we just took the Kerkstraat, the street, the church street. So I just discovered at some point munching on some Gouda cheese. Well, Stefan would have been, well, should be proud of me, because I think I've just said it really almost the same way he does, Gouda. So I'm not sure. And this is when I discovered that actually the building I was sitting next to was a church, and it was a wooden church, and it is one of very few wooden churches you can find. Exactly. Yeah, that was the wooden church. It was built here. It was built wooden because it was a temporary building. They were going to build a stone building, but they just never got round to it. The wooden building remained. The bell is still there, and it's still the original bell, and which is amazing because a lot of bells from the churches were taken and melted by the Nazis. So, but that's the original bell, and that's the original wooden church. So the wooden building remained. There is no church anymore. As you know, a lot of churches not really used as churches anymore. And this is also the result of the for those who are not in the loop, Sharon here collects bells, and whenever she travels, she buys herself a bell. Well, I don't think it would be easier for you to actually get this one, but yeah, I can imagine it would look really nicely in your collection. Maybe a bit too big. You probably need a separate shelf for it. I'm not sure. Yes. So and then little by little, the wooden building had extensions, but the church really stopped functioning at some point, and now it's a restaurant. I need to cross here. Okay, so this should work. Okay. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's some singing, maybe some football fans, I'm not sure. I should probably cross to the, you could stand on the parquet floor. Yeah, most probably, most likely. So I'm going to go a little bit over here, so for you to see the church. Yeah, so this should work, I think, really nicely. So this is the wooden church building I'm talking about. So these two parts, the white parts, are totally wooden. They never got around to building a stone church. But if you move a little bit, you'll see actually a pretty big square empty. And it's not so easy to find in this old center of Amsterdam this much space, because land is expensive. But obviously for a church, there was left plenty of space. Oh, just see some more tulips here. Beautiful wooden building, and there is a story connected. So I did a lot of reading, and when I looked it up, I found out that this church is has a story. In the early 1800s, which is way after Netherlands got its independence from Spain, and we're talking here the 80 years war between Netherlands and Spain, which is 1500, 1600. So in the early 1800s and the early 19th century, the French came, and the brother of Napoleon, Louis Bonaparte, became the king of the Netherlands. And you know, I'm sure from Stefan's tours, from Mark's tours, and in general, this is I would say, pretty much public knowledge that in the famous royal palace by the Dam Square, well, the building was not really meant to be a royal palace at all. And the Dutch royal family and the government, the seat of the government, parliament, is in The Hague. So The Hague is still kind of the political capital in a way. And but the French, Louis Bonaparte, chose that palace in the Dam Square, his residence. But he very often roamed around the city, and he indeed tried to become the Dutch king, not the French king, but the Dutch king, which made his brother. How about now? How about now? Am I back? Flowers. I will be waiting for your feedback, hoping to hear from you. Good again. Okay, fantastic. That's great. Oh, I think this is a good image. I think this is actually would be a great clip. A little bit of tulips, the bridge, the canal. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on. Last week, I did a virtual tour here, well, for one of the companies I work for. It's the private tour, and the connection was amazing. So I guess you never know. Marilyn has no sound. Could you please advise, but maybe just recommend to rejoin? No audio, which is really weird. Okay. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me? I have just disconnected the microphone, thinking maybe this could be the reason for the bad connection, which I'm not sure. You can hear me. Which is better, with the microphone or without? You heard me before too. Oh, how interesting. Okay, I'll carry on the same way. So for those who have no audio, I cannot really recommend them anything, but you could just type it on the chat to try to rejoin. I'm so sorry for all these issues because there's not much I could do about it, unfortunately. I was talking about, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. Without. Okay, no problem with that. I could work with that. I could work without the microphones. This is not a Zoom tour, so I guess that's why on YouTube it's probably easier. So, the story about Napoleon. So again, Louis Bonaparte tried to be the Dutch king. He even learned the language. He still made a lot of mistakes, but he definitely tried it. So which pissed off his brother, and eventually he was fired from the position until 1815, when basically the Dutch restored their independence from this time from the French. And the story has it that in this church, Louis Bonaparte spent some time. He even left his horse here next to the church, parked his horse here next to the church, and he loved to roam in this area. That's what I looked up. Well, this is one of the amazing spots, which also reminds me of St. Petersburg. There is an area in St. Petersburg, and this summer, this June, I will be doing a pre-recorded tours, the canal cruise in St. Petersburg. So on this canal cruise, we would always sail this past this area, where from one bridge you can see 7 other bridges. Semi-mostio, we used to say. And from here, you can also see 7 bridges. 1, 2. Now I need to cross a little bit. 3. Well, I don't know if it works better with or without microphone. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore. But I will be doing the rest of the tour without the microphone, since I've already disconnected it. So far we've counted 5 bridges. There is the 6th bridge over there. By the way, we are now next, this is the Prinsengracht, the Princess Canal. The canal for princes. So the canal belt was the very upscale area with a lot of expensive housing. Sorry, friend, you have to leave. I am so sorry. I probably missed out on the chat, trying to connect. Well, I have no idea. I mean, I know they do it. I have no idea how they manage this. All these boats. And now with this very busy season. But anyway, and also the 7th bridge, as I said, there are 7 bridges in this area. From this area you can see 7 different bridges. The 7th bridge is over there. So we've spoken about the the Amstel Church, right? The Amstel Kerk over there. The only wooden, one of very, very few wooden churches in the country. But there's one more church over here. There you go. I will come close, but I also will show it from the other side of the canal of Prinsengracht. But I need to be here, because this is all about the smaller details, right? I do like showing you big stuff, tourist stuff, but I also like to show you teeny tiny local things that normally without some sort of guidance we really tend to oversee. The big thing is that this is the Church of the Holy Spirit. It looks way better from the other side of the canal, so we are going there soon, but it's a little loud, so I would like to just finish with the story here and then take you to the other side of the Prinsengracht. So this is the Church of the Holy Spirit, and this is a Catholic church, whereas Amstelkerk was a Protestant church. I'm not going into details here, I'm sure many of you know the story, but basically the 80 Years' War, I will answer this question a little later, Barbara, okay? I would like to deal with the narrative, but there was nothing here for Yom HaShoah because, okay, so Barbara is asking me about the Yom HaShoah, which from Hebrew is translated like well, actually this is the Remembrance Day, the Holocaust Remembrance Day, victims of the Holocaust, but the internet, well, but it's not, nothing happens here on Yom HaShoah, because everything happens on the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, 27th of January. This is when Auschwitz was liberated. So there was nothing here, but I was here for Yom HaShoah, and I was doing the last walk of Anne Frank. This was my way to kind of commemorate the Yom HaShoah. So yeah, that's a whole different thing, the two different holidays. Well, not the holidays, sorry, but two different days. Now back to this church. So after this 80 years war between Catholic Spain and Protestant Netherlands, eventually Netherlands became an independent country, so the Catholic churches were kind of prohibited. They were not destroyed, God forbid, right? There was a lot less bloodshed than it could have been. We know how peaceful Christianity can be and was at times, right? So but it was quite okay here. The only thing is that Catholic churches could no longer have their visible attributes, and many of them eventually became clandestine, right, hidden churches. So but later on in the 19th century it was already okay to build Catholic churches, and the Holy Spirit Church was built in the 19th century. That's why it has this connected. Yeah, now I am back. So speaking of the teeny tiny, yeah, now I am back. So speaking of the teeny tiny details, let me just wait for a minute. Let me just make sure everyone is here with me. So thank you so much for your patience, guys. I'm not sure what's going on here with the camera, because it was all fine on my previous tour that I did in the same area. So about the details, there you go. So you see the Holy Spirit Church, which is now used as a concert venue. There is this teeny tiny sculpture, a detail, a figure by the famous artist Frankie. And Frankie is known for his tiny sculptures and figures and monuments scattered all around the city. So the guy cleaning the windows in the very interesting acrobatic positions, or really squatting there. So this is the work of Frankie. Frankie is known for a lot of beautiful tiny artworks all around the city, and there are even Frankie tours. Well, I know Catherine introduced me to his art, and whenever I see Frankie, I smile. Let me just cross these just for you again, so you could just see how tiny Frankie is. It's just over there. It's so easy to me. So whenever I see Frankie's art, I kind of already stop, and try to look around to see those little treats. Every now and then I actually find them. So whenever I see Frankie anywhere, it just puts a smile on my face. And that's exactly what Frankie is for. That's exactly what he's after. So make us smile. Lovely treat. Lovely treat. Well, Catherine knows everything about Frankie, and Catherine knows all those places by heart. But we just need a couple more minutes, and by the end of the tour I will definitely show you the Holy Spirit Church from a bigger distance, so you could see and embrace the beauty of it. But there is something else I want to share with you. So back then, last week, when I was munching my Gouda cheese and sitting there in the area, so you see how much space there is. There was supposed to be a proper church constructed, but they never really got around to it. Over there, the famous or infamous boathouse that reminds me of a yellow submarine.
Well, to me, it looks like a submarine. It's even more so because several years ago it didn't have windows. It looked just like a rusty orange submarine, to be honest. But some people found a different resemblance in this boathouse. They call it Kim Kardashian. And you know what? Now I also see Kim Kardashian there. So as far as I understand, this really became a big deal because so this boathouse was put up for sale at 1 million euros. 1 million euros. But nobody bought it because, as far as I understand, there were no windows. It looked like a submarine. Nobody wants to live in a submarine. So eventually they placed windows and it was sold. But I'm not sure what's going on there now. It looks, well, I will be standing. Hopefully this will bring the signal back or at least stabilize it. There you go. This is the Holy Spirit Church. The Frankie Monument is just over there. If I zoom it in, you will see it from here, but I wanted to show it to you from here. The cat boat is a little bit, it's not here, so I really wish I had more time to take it to the cat boat, but maybe on some other tour. We'll see. At the moment, I'm standing by Kim Kardashian, kind of embracing it all. And so here is why it looks to me like a submarine. Look, it looks like a submarine. There you go. And it also looks like Kim Kardashian. This is also so true. Okay, so, dear friends, you see what's going on here in this area on the weekend afternoon. This is nothing like it was on Monday. I might be able to come here for the market again and film a little bit for you. Well, I actually filmed it, but we'll see. It looks very different. It looks very different. So quiet. And this is where I would like to wrap this up. There is still a lot to do, but I'm hoping to catch up with you for the 2 other tours I will be doing tonight. Tomorrow I'm doing the Jewish Heritage Tour Part 1, actually in the area where we started today. And then also I'm taking it to Jerusalem, to the American colony. But that's going to be a pre-recorded one, obviously. Thank you so much everyone for joining me and Kim and Frankie and the Holy Spirit Church over there. Well, I'm glad that this has been a relatively new area of Amsterdam for you. I cannot beat Stefan and Mark, and I don't really have this mission. No. I just wanted to add a little bit of my perception, of my vision of Amsterdam, and connect it, to my heritage too. So I hope this has worked. Well, the signal, the connectivity was definitely not on my side. We've had a lot of connectivity issues and glitches, but I hope that it still has been fun. Evil houseboat, modern canal. Well, there are a lot of boats that have a lot of nicknames, and they are scattered all around the canals. So I wish I could show you more. How long do you have left? Well, I'm staying till the 26th. There's just a little bit over a week. Not really much. Thank you so much everyone for joining me. Thank you so much for your tips. I see some tips coming in. Thank you so much, Dolores. Thank you. I'm glad you have enjoyed it, Marilyn. Sorry for the signal. Not much I could do about it, but I had fun. And I can't wait to connect with you tonight for other tours. And I can't wait to see you on the live walk tomorrow in the Jewish neighborhood, in the Jewish quarter. Thank you so much and bye-bye. From me and Kim. I'm in. Yeah? Yeah? Bye-bye. Thank you so much, dears. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.